who is the caretaker of the kingdom. So this is the brief subject matter under discussion in chapter 16. So this chapter is named as How Parikshit Received the Age of Kali. Shruta Uvacha Tataha Parikshit Vijavarayas Shikshaya Mahim Mahabhagavata Sasasaha Yatha hi Sutyam Abhijata Vidaha Samadhi Sanvi Pramahad Gunastatha. Sutta Goswami continued. Tataha Parikshit Vijavarya Shikshaya Mahim Mahabhagavata Sasasaha. Mahabhagavata Maharaj Parikshit, he continued to rule the planet Earth. How? Vijavarya Shikshaya, being instructed by the best of the twice born Brahmanas. Vijavarya, Varya means Srestha. And Yatha hi Sutyam Abhijato Kovidaha. At the time of Maharaj Parikshit's birth, all these Graha Vipras, they who are expert in reading the astrological chart, by reading the chart, the star, birth star of Maharaj Parikshit, they had predicted that this boy is going to become a great follower of Pandu Maharaj. He is as good as Pandu Maharaj. He is born with many good qualities. And when Yudhishthir Maharaj asked this question whether this child is going to bring glory to our dynasty or not, in response to that, they were discussing about the good qualities Marikshit Maharaj was endowed with. Therefore, Yathahi Sutyam Abhijata Povida. At the time of his birth, the good qualities of Maharaj Parikshit, which was told by the great astrologers, Samadhisan Vipra Mahat Gunastha. By those good qualities, he continued to rule the earth. So, in this case, the Prabhupada, while commenting to the word Mahabhagavata, he says, Maharaj Parikshit was a Mahabhagavata or a first-class devotee. What does it mean? Who was not only well-versed in the science of devotion, but also able to convert others to become devotees by his transcendental instructions. So that means a Mahabhagavata is a great devotee of the Lord who not only is conversant with the science of Krishna consciousness, he knows Krishna Tattva, he knows the philosophy concerning Krishna consciousness very well, and as he speaks, he is able to convert many other to become a devotee of the Lord. So that is the power of the instruction of a Mahabhagavata. So in this connection, we can see Srila Prabhupada is also a Mahabhagavata. Srila Prabhupada, he knew Krishna, science of Krishna consciousness, and as he preached, he was able to convert. He was able to inspire hundreds and thousands of people across the globe to take up Krishna consciousness. So continuing about Maharaj Parikshit, kings like Maharaj Parikshit had their council of advisors, and all the members of that council were either great sages or brahmanas of the first order. They did not accept any salary, nor had they any necessity for such salaries. The state would get the best advice without expenditure. They were themselves samadrishti, equal to everyone, both man and animal. They would not advise the king to give protection to men and instruct him to kill the poor animals. So this is how Maharaj Parikshit used to rule the kingdom. It's not that like modern rulers, they are occupying their position just to exploit the citizens of the country. Whoever is taking up the position of the ruler, they just simply concerned about their material well-being. They don't take their duty seriously, and they involve in lot of hypocritic activities, which brings misfortune to the subjects. But at the time of Maharaj Parikshit, not only he was an ideal king, Mahabhagavata, rather the Brahmanas who were his Rajapurohita, the priests in the king's assembly, they are also highly qualified. These priests were not greedy to earn their livelihood from the king, but they were readily available to give the best counsel without any cost involved. So, in that way, Maharaj Parikshit was able to run the kingdom in a very successful manner. The state in which the state in the days of Maharaj Yudhishthir or Maharaj Parikshit was a welfare state in the real sense of the term because no one was unhappy in that state, be he man or animal. Maharaj Parikshit was an ideal king for a welfare state of the world. Very interesting point. The king, who is the representative of God, supposed to rule the kingdom by following the dictations of God. You see, the Kshatriyas are not supposed to rule independently. Kshatriyas are not as good as the Brahmanas in terms of Shastric knowledge. So then the question comes, when a Kshatriya who is not very conversant with the knowledge of scripture, he is given with the power to administer, so at a time he will commit mistake because this power is a kind of intoxication, right? When somebody is ascended to a high post, he becomes proud. And because of the pride, he sometimes go astray, commit a lot of mistakes. So now the point is, when somebody is appointed as a king, Kshatriya king, so what is the anchor? How he can control himself? Therefore, scripture is given. And the Brahmanas, they are supposed to guide the Kshatriyas by following the scriptures. So those Kshatriyas who follow the scripture, they are the successful ruler, or they can bring good for the citizen. Therefore, it is said that the state in the days of Maharaj Yudhishthir or Maharaj Parikshit was a welfare state in the real sense of the term. Because every citizen in the country were happy. Why? Because they are following religious principles perfectly. Sauttarasya tanayamupayema iravatim janamejayadim satu astasyamutpadayat sutan sauttarasya tanaya upayema iravatim. King Parikshit married the daughter of King Uttara and begot four sons headed by Maharaj Janmeja. We know this Uttar was the brother-in-law of Abhimanyu, who was killed by Salva. And this Iravati in the Maharaj Parikshit married Iravati, and she gave birth to Janmeja. And while speaking about Janamjoy, Srila Prabhupada comments that Janamjoy was very upset when he heard how Maharaj Parikshit was uh, cursed to die out of snake bite. So he conducted a very big sacrifice where he wanted to kill all the snakes. And he had started that actually. Then finally, in that big dispute, this Mahamuni Vyasadeva, he actually, came and they consoled him. On the request of the influential demigods and sages. So different demigods and sages, they came. Then he said, okay, I'll change my decision. He stopped the Sarpa Yajna. He was much affected by his great father's untimely death and was very anxious to see him again. And he expressed his desire before the great sage Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva also fulfilled his desire. His father was present before him, and he worshipped both his father and Vyasadeva with great respect and pomp. Being fully satisfied, he most munificently gave charities to the Brahmanas present at the sacrifice. Text number 3. Ajahara Sumedham Strin Gangayam Puri Dakshinam Saradvatam Gurum Kritva Deva Jatraksh Gochara. So Maharaj Parikshit, Maharaj Parikshit was such a powerful king. He performed 3 horse sacrifices and he performed these sacrifices where all these demigods, they came down to receive the gift in the sacrifice, in the sacrificial arena. Deva Jatrakshigochara, even demigods were seen in that sacrifice. He was such a powerful king. So the Prabhupada writes, the kings used to spend lavishly during such sacrifices. As a cloud distributes rains, a cloud is nothing but another form of water, or in other words, the waters of the earth transform into clouds. Similarly, the charity made by the kings in such sacrifices are but another form of the tax collected from the citizens. But as the rains fall down very lavishly and appear to be more than necessary, the charity made by such kings also seems to be more than what the citizen needs. Satisfied citizens will never organize agitation against the king, and thus there was no need in changing the monarchical state. You see, that time not only the king was very powerful and qualified, even the citizens, they were also qualified citizens. When citizens were given ample facilities, it's not that they were just sitting quiet and they were wasting their time in watching movie in the internet and don't want to work. Like nowadays, in India, I can tell you, I was talking to one devotee in Odisha. He said, Prabhu, nowadays, all these poor people, they don't want to work. I said, why? He said, here, government is giving rice in 1 rupee. Can you imagine? They are getting 1 kilo rice in 1 rupee. I said, they can't even eat. He said, yes, that's what they don't want to work. They get the rice, then sell it in the market and take the money and enjoy their life. So this is how it is going on. So the government who collect tax, even nowadays, the citizens are so degraded, their consciousness is so degraded. Even if the king is going to give them some charity, uh, still they will misuse these gifts because they are not qualified. Their mind is always disturbed, their consciousness is polluted. So many scientific advancements in the agricultural industry is spoiling the consciousness of the people. I don't know whether I told you whether they or not. I heard from one devotee the chemical fertilizers and by injecting different hormones to produce hybrid vegetables that has caused agitation in the male members to become attracted to the male members. Samalingya Akarsana. Somebody has done some research on this. You see, when people's consciousness is polluted like this through food, how can we expect anything good from such a society? So therefore, the only hope is that if people take to the process of Bhagavad Dharma, they can be rescued. निज ग्राहो यशा वीर करीम दिग्विजये क्वचित् नृपलिंगधरम शुद्रम तम गोमिथुनम पदा. Once, when Maharaj Parikshit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali Yuga, who was lower than a Shudra, disguised as a king and hurting the legs of a cow and bull. The king at once got hold of him to deal sufficient punishment. So here the question can be asked that Maharaj Parikshit, when he saw Mr. Kali was hurting the leg of the bull and cow, and he did not kill him. Why he did not kill him? He didn't kill him because after we will see that he has some good quality. This personality of Kali. Kusala nyasu siddhanti netarani pritani jat. When good things are just conceived in the mind, one gets the good result. Whereas the result of bad activities are received upon committing such sinful activities. So this is a good quality. Anyway, so Maharaj Parikshit, he actually gave him punishment, but he did not kill, he did not vanish. Kali Maharaj. Prabhupada writes, human civilization means to advance the cause of Brahminical culture. A very profound statement Prabhupada is making here. Human civilization means to advance the cause of Brahminical culture and to maintain it. Car protection is essential. So that means the very basis of human civilization is meant for protecting Brahminical culture and cow. But nowadays, this Brahminical culture and cow protection is almost, the concept of Brahminical culture and cow protection is almost extinct. People don't want to become Brahman. They want to eat all sorts of tamasic food and they want to loiter in the gutter, but still they don't want to maintain a life full of goodness. Eh? There is a miracle in milk, for it contains all the necessary vitamins to sustain human physiological conditions for higher achievements. Brahminical culture can advise only when man is educated to develop the quality of goodness. And for this, there is a prime necessity of food prepared with milk, fruits, and grains. Maharaj Parikshit was astonished to see that A black Shudra dressed like a ruler was mistreating a cow, the most important animal in human society. In our society, we worship Mother Cow, not only for getting the milk from Mother Cow, but there is the deep meaning behind that. When we worship Mother Cow, Krishna is pleased. The very activity of the human civilization is meant for bringing pleasure to Krishna. And the best way to please Krishna is when cows are protected. Mother cow is given good food. And as Prabhupada is saying here, the milk is a very miraculous food product. And by intake of the milk, we can gain good memory power. Our intellect will be enhanced and we can conceive finer tattva. Even the uh, topic of the spiritual world can be grasped very easily when the brain is fertile. And milk acts to fertile the brain. But nowadays, modern demoniac civilization have been feeding lot of unwanted food to the cow. Cow is not supposed to eat meat or fish. One time I was in Dubai, one devotee told me, he said, you want to go to Gosala here? Oh, there's Gosala? He said, yes. He said, don't go there. Then again, he said, don't go there. I said, why? He said, you know, they are feeding fish, dry fish to cow. And you know, cow, what can mother cow do? They force her to eat and she's eating. And it's horrible. And then doctors are saying, don't drink cow milk. Very harmful. Mother cow body is designed by Krishna in such a way that this is just a good machine to produce tonic for the brain. Now you, by feeding wrong food stuff, you are spoiling the machine and you are saying, oh, don't drink cow milk. This is called demon. Demon does not mean that he has got two horns and always with a gun or sword ready to attack, big teeth. No. Nowadays, demon is wearing pant, coat, and tie, very sophisticated, driving very sophisticated car, and they are making all these plans. So they are the big demons. Very sad thing. Huh? The age of Kali means mismanagement and quarrel. And the root cause of all mismanagement and quarrel is that worthless men with the moods of lower class men who have no higher ambition in life come to the helm of the state management. Such men at the post of a king are sure to first hurt the cow and the Brahminical culture, thereby pushing all society towards hell. When we read such kind of statements, what can we do? Sometimes I think devotees in Krishna consciousness movement should be very cautious about practice of Krishna conscious principle thoroughly. Because the society is so much degraded and day by day, the influence of the demoniac mentality is so hardly increased. We cannot expect any good from this society actually. This reminds us about being more sincere in our Krishna conscious practice. Even today also there are some people who are living in the village, they are actually good people. They are having more sattvic life. They are growing their own food. They have cow is eating grass. Still good life actually. Here in Mayapur Institute, we have free land. Just few days back, they cooked spinach. Their spinach was so tasty. Then I asked them, I said, hey, where did you get this spinach from? Because I know the market spinach is not so tasty. Then the boy said, Prabhu, we collected it from the ground, from the campus. I mean, so, the food which is naturally grown, there's a gift of nature is so conducive for our sustenance. But we, the demoniac people, are spoiling Mother Earth and we are forcing her to give what she is not supposed to give in a particular season. Torturing her. You tell me, if we torture somebody and then ask him or her to give us our sustenance, how can we expect their sustenance product is going to help us gain good consciousness or help us to have a good health? No, right? Very, very important point. Anyway, now, Saunaka Uvacha, Kasya Hetu Kasya Hetu Nijagraha Kalim Digvijaye Nripaha Nrideva Chinnadrik Sudra Koshodam Padahanat Tatkathyatang Mahabhaga Jadi Krishna Katha Swayam. See, they're asking a question that we are surprised that this king who was dressed like a Sudra, the Sudra who are dressed like a king was hurting the cow. Okay, we are ready to hear these things, provided there is topic about Krishna. Otherwise, we are not interested to hear. Nowadays, in the modern world, people are always anxious to hear so many messages, news, every day appearing in the YouTube channel, in the Facebook channel, in the news channel, right? Sitting at home, before what was happening, people had to purchase newspaper or magazines to read. And those who did not have money, they could not have access to such messages. That was good actually in one way. Nowadays, after this mobile phone has come up and free internet, people sitting in the remote village, they are having access to all dirty news, right? So then the question comes, what is the filtration process? So here filtration process is given. Devotees in Krishna consciousness have no interest in sociology, politics, economics, or culture unless it is connected with Krishna. Through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, we also talk about sociology, we talk about economics, we talk about culture when it is related to Krishna. That means anything to be discussed must be in relation to Krishna. That is the message. That's why the sages in Naimisaranya, headed by Saunaka, they are saying, please describe all these incidents if they relate to the topics of Lord Krishna. We are thinking to create an app on Srimad Bhagavatam. If somebody knows who can help us, please give me the contact of such a devotee or anyone person outside, because you see, people are now learning a lot of bad things in different social media. Different apps are there. Why not create an app on Srimad Bhagavatam so that people will at least come across learning good things? Because it is related to Krishna, internet also will become purified. Then he continues. Athavasya padam bhojam akaran diham satam किमन्यैरसदालापैरायुष जद असद्वयः. The devotees of the Lord are accustomed to licking of the honey available from the lotus feet of the Lord. What is the use of topics which simply waste one's valuable life? It's a very interesting point. Kimanye asadalapai ayusha jat asadvyaya. First of all, the lifespan in this age of Kali have been reduced. When we have a very temporary life, then during this transient lifetime, if we are involved in discussing dirty topics, that means we are spoiling our life. That is what the sages are asking that Kim Manye Sdalapai Ayusajat Asadvaya. By discussing the bad topics, why one should unnecessarily waste his time? Means the sages are saying, our dear Sutta Goswami, we have been assembled in this place of pilgrimage in Naimisaranya. Our goal is to hear about Krishna. We want to hear about Krishna Katha. That is why we are here. That means even in this age of Kali, by taking shelter of other religious activities in the name of becoming a good person, religious person, people, when they take up other religious practices, that is also not very helpful. So therefore, the sages in Naimisharanya, they are saying that we have assembled here just to hear about Krishna. Though the Prabhupada is saying, those who want to live forever without changing their material bodies should not waste valuable time with topics other than those relating to Lord Krishna and his devotees. Yeah, sometimes it is very, very purifying when we talk about a pure devotee of the Lord, because the pure devotee's life is always dedicated to serve the Supreme Lord. When we hear about the activities of a pure devotee, it helps us to fix our consciousness unto Krishna. Therefore, we should always be engaged in topics which are relating to Krishna or his devotees. Shudrayusam namangam artyanam utamichhatam yuhopahuta bhagavan mrityu samitra karmani. See, they are making a very good statement. Kshudrayusam nam angam martyanam mritamichhatam. They are addressing Sutta Goswami as Anga, O Sutta Goswami. There are those among men who desire freedom from death. Martyanam mritamichhatam. Those who are born in this world, they must die. That's why we are martya. Means we have to die one day. But we are desiring liberation. So therefore, he's saying that they escape the slaughtering process by calling the controller of death Yamaraj. So the sages in Naimisaranya, they are saying, Sutta Goswami, we are engaged in the sacrifice and our desire is we want to hear about Krishna Gatha. In this way, the Lord of Death, Yamaraj, is invited by us to this place. So that as long as Yamaraj is here with us, all people will not die. That means it's a very interesting point. It's a very, very artistic way of presentation. They are saying that Yamaraj is a Mahajan. He likes to hear about Krishna. And we have been assembled here to hear about Krishna, and we have invited Jamaraj. So as long as Jamaraj lives here, people will be rescued. They will not die. So that means they are saying indirectly that dear devotees, always read Bhagavatam, always speak about Krishna, then Jamaraj also will be there, then nobody will die. Means what? You may leave your body, but again you will not take birth in another body to die again. Definitely there is no death for the soul. When the soul leaves the body, that is called death. But here when we say there will be no death, that means he will not enter into mother's womb again. Yamaraj is a great devotee of the Lord, and he likes to be invited to to kirtans and sacrifices by the pure devotees who are constantly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. This is the sign of a pure devotee. They like to be invited to kirtan and sacrifice. Thus, the great sages, headed by Saunaka and others, invited Yamaraj to attend the sacrifice performed at Naimisharanya. This was good for those who did not want to die. See, so many scientific inventions are being made. Doctors are always busy in finding new medicines, how to curtail the death. No, you cannot stop death. But Prabhupada is saying, those who don't want to die, they should simply come to Kirtan and Katha. Na tasindriyate tava javadasta ihantaka etadartham hi bhagavan ahutah paramarsivi oho niloke piyeta hari lilamritam vacha. As long as Yamaraj, who causes everyone's death, is present here, no one shall meet with death. The great sages have invited the controller of death, Yamaraj, who is the representative of the Lord. Living beings who are under his grief should take advantage by hearing the deathless nectar in the form of his narration of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. That means the only way to attain deathlessness situation platform is to hear about the transcendental narration of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Every human being dislikes meeting death, but he does not know how to get rid of death. The surest remedy for avoiding death is to accustom oneself to hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord as they are systematically narrated in the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jivata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. Alayam means after liberation. Means after you get liberated from this body, still you're going to drink this nectar. That's why you are not meeting death. Why it is said you are not meeting death? As long as you remain in this body, you continue drinking nectar in form of Srimad Bhagavatam. And when we leave the body, what happens? We, after leaving the body also, we still continue to drinking the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why there is no death for those who listen to the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. Mandasya madhya manda pragyasya vayo mandayusasya vai nidraya hiyate naktam divacha vyartha karmabhi. Sonak Rishi is saying, this is the situation of the entities in the Shaijapragya. Mandasya manda pragyasya. Manda means lazy. Manda pragya means they have polluted intelligence. Their intelligence is polluted. And manda yusaschavai. Ayusha means they are short-lived. And then you see one who is lazy, who has polluted intelligence, and his lifespan is reduced. Then what is doing? Nidraya hiyate naktam. Night time, he is wasting his time just in sleeping or fulfilling the demand of the senses. And during daytime, divacha vyartha karma. He is engaged in some set of activities which are not very meaningful, not going to help him to get out of this material world. That's why it is useless activity. Activity which is not helping the soul to transgress, to migrate from this material world to the spiritual world. That is called vyartha karma. That is called useless activity. So people, when they are lazy, they are short-lived, they have faulty intelligence, and on top of that, they are involved in, they're wasting time day and night. What good thing can be expected from such people? That is the mood revealed by the sages in Naimisharanya. There are so many things manufactured by human energy, but they are all meant for sense enjoyment and not for getting out of material bondage. And after working hard during daytime, a tired man either sleeps or engages in sex habits at night. That is the program of materialistic civilized life for the less intelligent. Therefore, they are designated herein as lazy, unfortunate, and short-lived. We should not become lazy. By default, we are short-lived, and we should not also pollute our intelligence. Now, Sutta Goswami starts speaking. Sutta Vacha Yada Pariksit Kuru Jangale Vasat Kalim Pravishtam Nija Chakravartite Nisamya Varta Manapti Priyam Tataha Sarasanam Sayuga Sundiradade. When Maharaj Pariksit was ruling the kingdom, at that time, Yada Pariksit Kurujangale Vasat in Kurujangal province, we are there. Kalim Pravishtan Nija Chakravartite. He found that Kali has started spreading his influence in the state where Maharaj Pariksit was ruling. Nisamya Varta Anati Priyam Tata. It is not a very good, palatable to hear that Kali has started spreading influence. So, at that time, what happened? He took up his bow and arrows and prepared himself for military activities. Actually, some Acharya, they comment, they say, Parikshit Maharaj was a little happy. Why? There is some mischievous person seen in the state, he was a little happy. Because for so many years, he was not fighting. There was no need for Maharaj Parikshit to fight. All the kings were naturally offering their tributes to Maharaj Parikshit. So he was not fighting with anyone. Oh, now the time has come, now I can fight. That's why he took up his bow and arrows and prepared himself for military activities. Prabhupada says, Maharaj Parikshit heard that some of the people of the state had already taken to those symptoms. These 4 sinful symptoms, right? What are the 4 principles? No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. So Prabhupada is saying, Maharaj Parikshit heard that some of the people of the state had already taken to those symptoms and he wanted to take immediate steps against such causes of unrest. See, at that time, Maharaj Parikshit, when he heard people are now taking shelter of these bad habits, he immediately wanted to stop. Now, our government, they are opening all those facilities and thinking that is the source of money generation. They are giving license to liquor house, liquor shop. Why? Because many people will purchase and they will generate revenue. This is Shudra mentality. By slaughtering cows and selling cow meat, they want to increase, they want to bring stability to their finance. This is very, very degraded thinking. Huh? How can one sell mother's meat and think still he will prosper? Prosperity cannot come when somebody is, trying to survive at the cost of the blood of his mother. So this means that at least up to the regime of Maharaj Parikshit, such symptoms of public life were practically unknown. And as soon as they were slightly detected, he wanted to root them out. What did you learn from this? At least in Krishna consciousness, we would say that we don't have any control outside of our society, outside of our family, outside of our temple, outside of our congregation. Let us now follow this example. Maharaj Parikshit time, there was no such mishap. So when he detected it, he immediately wanted to stop it. Similarly, those who are leaders, who are preaching, preachers in Krishna consciousness, either you are preaching to your family members, or you have a cell group of people listening to you, or you are a head of the congregation, or you are running a temple, or if you have many more responsibility in whichever section of the society, you should try to stop. As soon as you detect there is some smell of such kind of sinful activity, then you should, as soon as you detect, you should root that out. That is what Maharaj Parikshit did. It is no argument that in the age of Kali, such symptoms are predestined. If so, then why was there preparation for fighting out such symptoms? Such arguments are offered by lazy and unfortunate men. See Prabhupada's statement. Some people they feel, oh, we are in this age of Kali, what to do? Anyway, children are going to school, lot of influences are there. How to protect? It's like, it's natural, it has to happen. No, we should not think like that. Prabhupada is saying, such arguments are offered by lazy and unfortunate men. If the rainy season, in the rainy season, rain is predestined, and yet people take precautions to protect themselves. Similarly, in the age of Kali, the symptoms as above mentioned are sure to infiltrate into social life. But if but it is the duty of the state to save the citizens from the association of the agents of the age of Kali. Maharaj Parikshit wanted to punish the miscreants indulging in the symptoms of Kali and thus saved the innocent citizens who were pure in habit by culture of religion. It is the duty of the king to give such protection, and Maharaj Parikshit was perfectly right when he prepared himself to fight. Why he wanted to fight? Because he didn't want Kali Maharaj to spread his influence. After, when we see Kali Maharaj is spreading his influence, then if you don't stop him, then what good thing can we expect from our society? Swalam kritam syam turanga yojitam ratham mrugendra dvajamasrita purat brito rathashwa dipapatti yuktaya Swasena Digvijaya Nirgata. Maharaj Parikshit sat on the chariot drawn by black horses. His flag was marked with the sign of a lion, being so decorated and surrounded by charioteers, elephants, and infantry soldiers. He left the capital to conquer in all directions. So Maharaj Parikshit, he was ready to go out and conquer the effect of Kali. And where did he go? Where was the different places in the earth where he was ruling mentioned here? Bhadraswam Ketumalam cha Bharatam Chatturan Kurun Kim Purushadi Nivarsani Vijitya Jagrihe Balim. Maharaj Parikshit then conquered all parts of the earthly planet. Bhadraswa, Ketumala, Bharata, and Northern Kuru, Kim Purusha, etc., and exacted tributes from their respective rulers. So here it is said that he went to all these places and he collected tributes, and wherever he visited, he heard only the glories of the Pandavas sung by the people of that particular place. They used to say, "Oh, we know Maharaj Parikshit. He was saved from the womb of Uttara, from the attack of Ashwatthama's Brahmastra weapon by Krishna." So in that way, wherever he visited, he used to hear the glories of Maharaj Parikshit. Sorry, his glories and also glories of the Pandavas also he used to hear. Wherever the king visited, he continuously heard the glories of his great forefathers, who were all devotees of the Lord, and also of the glorious acts of Lord Krishna. He also heard how he himself had been protected by the Lord from the powerful heat of the weapon of Ashwatthama. People also mention the great affection between the descendants of Vrishni and Pritha. Due to the latter's great devotion to Lord Keshava, the king, being very pleased with the singers of such glories, opened his eyes in great satisfaction. Out of magnanimity, he was pleased to award them very valuable necklaces and clothing. So when Maharaj Parikshit was traveling through these provinces, he found citizens are coming and offering him glorifications, glorifying Maharaj Parikshit and his forefathers. Being pleased with their glorifications, he started to give them gifts. The necklace, the clothes, whatever he had, he was giving to these citizens. Prabhupada is saying, why these citizens, they were glorifying forefathers of Maharaj Parikshit when they met him, or they glorified Maharaj Parikshit. Because king is the representative of Krishna. And when we glorify such a representative of Krishna, Krishna is happy, Krishna is pleased. So therefore, they were glorifying this Maharaj Parikshit and the Pandavas. Maharaj Parikshit would not have been glad to hear about the glories of his forefathers like Maharaj Yudhishthira and Arjuna had they not been connected with the acts of Lord Krishna. That means we should not unnecessarily just try to make somebody happy when they are not connected with Krishna. Prabhupada is saying that Parikshit Maharaj will not be very happy to hear the glorifications if their life activities were not connected with Krishna. That means a devotee is always inclined to hear anything when it is related to Krishna. The present days of the welcome address are presented not always with factual statements, but to please the post holder, and often they are full of flattering lies, and ready and rarely are those who present such welcome address rewarded by the poor receivers. This is the symptom of Kali. People who are not qualified, they are offered some glorification in welcome address, and these people, they also simply listen. Prabhupada is saying that's not good. They don't, Prabhupada doesn't like it. He didn't approve such kind of false glorification to please the post holders. Okay, so I think we can conclude here today. We continue from 16. If you have any question or comment, or you have some insight, you want to give us some of your insightful understanding about the topic, please share with us. So, Hare Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for the class today as usual. It's amazing. I have already studied this chapter from a different group, but it's like I never read it because I'm hearing so many new things I never remember I actually read. Now I have a question from verse 5 and verse 6, where Srila Prabhupada was saying that even though we have like sociology, economics, politics in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but we study them because they are in relation to Krishna. So if we have very short time to live, and if we engage in things that have no relation to Krishna, we're wasting our time. Now, my question is, I am blessed to have you as my teacher only because there is this Zoom going on. And I believe whoever invented this Zoom didn't have Krishna in mind, that the devotees will get here and be listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. But here we are. So my question is, even though such a person probably did not have this intention of serving God through this means, but now we are using it to serve God. So will he also get some benefit from devotees using his app to learn more about Krishna? Hare Krishna.
You see, Krishna is inclined to benefit everybody some way or other. It's not a question of whether Krishna is going to get benefit from Krishna. The point is whether he is he's being grateful to Krishna for Krishna showering his blessing upon him or benefiting him. The point is, if we go and with a loud voice, you speak to somebody who is a deaf man about, this glories of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, glories of Krishna. What is the use of speaking to a deaf person? Anyway, he is not able to hear anything. So similarly, these people, they are blindfolded. I have normally seen, I don't want to mention the name, neither mention the app name. People who are creating all those things, they are hunted by subtle ghosts. Subtle ghost means, here I mean to say, their consciousness is totally polluted, Prabhu. They can't see even good things. You tell me, if this person, you say should get some blessing, well, in one way, definitely, Krishna will kind of bless him when devotees are using this facility in glorifying Krishna. But whether this fellow is really able to take benefit of that kind of mercy from Krishna or not, that's the question. We should ask this question. Krishna's mercy is always, like sunshine. It's emanating from Krishna all everywhere. But whether that patra, that person upon which it is being reflected, whether he is qualified to receive it or not, that should be discussed. Krishna is all merciful. He is definitely giving him mercy. There is no doubt about it. But what about this idiot fellow? When he doesn't recognize Krishna as God, he doesn't want to follow his advice, how can he be recipient of the mercy of Krishna? He cannot. He himself has created a cocoon around him in form of this impersonalistic thought. That means he cannot. Even though Krishna is willing to give. Krishna is always willing to give because he is all merciful God. That is how we understand the devotee Krishna consciousness. Maybe we expected a different answer. No, I am not going to answer what you expected. Okay? I'm sorry, Prabhuji. We need to be truthful. Okay. Kunalji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for the nice class. In one of the purports, it was mentioned that it is the duty of the state to keep its citizens safe from the association of the age of Kali, or those who exhibit the symptoms of the age of Kali. So would you be able to elaborate on what exactly are the symptoms of Kali, and what kind of association are we talking about? Is it that even devotees are free of all symptoms of the age of Kali, or what in this particular age, what sort of association should each individual or families aim for seeking? Because it's so mixed up. Everything is just so mixed up.
So here what it means is Vedan Siddha karma, that is Papa, or the friends of Papa, we can say. That means any activity which is not approved in the Vedic literature, that should be avoided. So if you try to make a list of things what we should avoid, I don't know how long it will take, and what are the things you can list out, because in this age of Kali, wherever we go, there is rampant campaign about the influence of the friends of Kali in form of some activity, in form of some painting, in form of some advertisement material, in form of some literature, in form of clothing. I mean to say, there is a lot of arrangement being made who are actually acting as a friend of Kali. So any kind of association, whether it is through food, it is through clothing, it is through some words or some personal exchange, if that association is taking our mind away from Krishna, that is called bad association. That protection should be given. That is actually a very interesting point. Like you see, Prabhu, you are asking this question. Actually, when you are in water, you cannot protect yourself from not being tainted. You will automatically, your body will get tainted with water. So therefore, the best person would always think, well, if I have to cross the river, then let me take the help of the boat, so that I will be going on top of water without being tainted. So similarly, the devotees in Krishna consciousness, Nideh Madhyam Sulabam Sudurlabam Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karna Dharam. We have been, we are born in this body, but we have taken shelter of the lotus feet of Guru. Then we remain protected. That means we sincerely need to follow the instructions of Guru. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is, I'm talking about the subtlety. Sometimes certain activities appear to us like this is, okay, or we can do this, we can eat this, we can lead our life like this, but we do not know what are the consequences. Therefore, when we are in constant touch with our spiritual master, then we can sometimes, when confusion comes, we need to discuss with them. Because in this age of Kali, every time we are facing new challenges, and new friends of Kali are being born. It's very difficult to list out the items who are actually the bad association. That's why I just gave you some understanding what could be the bad association, how one can successfully transcend the influence of such bad association.
Thank you, Prabhu. And is there any relationship with rajas and tamas that we can draw in terms of gauging ourselves in what association we should keep, or because everything these days is like rajas and tamas, it seems, especially in the West. So I mean, what association shall we keep?
Not only in West, these modes of material nature are effective everywhere, whether it is in India or in the outside of India. Maybe in some part of the world it is more, some part of the world it is little less. But nowhere the material world is free from the influence of the effect of Raja and Tama. Yes, in one way you can also see it from that angle also. People who are heavily influenced by Raja and Tama guna, they are prone to sinful activities or bad association, you can say. That's another way to be influenced by the bad association. Even that tamasic or rajasic association means also people who are into that rajaguna, their food, their behavior, their talk, their activity, then we should avoid such kind of association also. Just in simple term, the association which is taking my consciousness away from Krishna, that is prohibited. That is particular. That is averse to Krishna consciousness. We should avoid that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Murali Govind Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Thank you very much for the wonderful class once again. I've been missing few classes, Prabhuji. So anyway, today is again I heard the nectar from you. Prabhuji, I am just a little bit confused with the purport in verse number 10. That is like when Parikshit Maharaj came to know about the Kali Yuga symptoms have been there in his empire.
Kingdom, yeah.
So he did not like that news itself. So what I was wondering is, like, even before this Kali Yuga characters, even in the Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga also, we have seen so many demons who have come in disguise and tried to cheat, like Sita. When Ravana, he came in disguise as if he is a Brahmana, he pretended, he cheated, and he took away Sita. So similarly, Putana in Dwapara Yuga to Lord Sri Krishna. So even these Kali Yuga symptoms were existing in those yugas also. When a kind of piety was there that time also, pious activities, pious people. Even now also you will find those people who are associated with ISKCON, they are a bit pious. They don't cheat, or they don't have this jealousy, these kind of things. How to understand this, Prabhuji?
Very simple, very simple. On those days, people were afraid of those bad things. In age of Kali, people are not afraid of those bad associations. This is the difference. You can see a person, he knows I am not supposed to look at this thing.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to speak like this. I'm not supposed to eat this. Brahmana, how can I eat this? Shamelessly. There's no fear of punishment even after death. The concept is totally, it's like a mood actually. Prabhupada said, they are actually mood, gadha. Means they cannot even think in their mind that there's no power of discrimination. This is the difference, Prabhu.
Okay.
Because it is already kind of has entered so deep into the body of the living entities, human being, I would say, not even living, human being.
Okay.
On those days, at least it was separate. That's why when it was coming near them, they are being afraid. But nowadays, we people are not afraid of papa karma.
Okay. So at least in those yugas, only few people were not afraid, like even this Ravana or Putana. Now everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for.
Well, that was a kind of I don't want to have much comment about Ravana. That's a different story altogether. But in general, you can see people were afraid of sinful activities.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Silas Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Vikram Javishprabhat. Thank you for wonderful class. I have a couple of questions. Firstly, a follow-up question from Sandeep Prabhu's question. So we read that inadvertent service, such as that mouse whose tail got caught and inadvertently offered arti to Krishna, where this Mohammedan who was saying haram to a cow or something, I don't know, to something that was a pig, I think, and got liberated because he said the name of Ram inadvertently. So inadvertent service, even though your intention wasn't to please or serve Krishna, does carry some merit or not? I mean, in that case, everyone in the world is somehow inadvertently serving. So are they all, through Krishna's grace, all still getting some inadvertent credits? Like, for instance, this person who's invented Zoom, like, for instance, the person who's building aircraft, and so devotees can fly around and Prabhupada to fly around.
No, I told you, you see, Krishna's mercy is readily available for everyone at all time. Just like whichever place you go in the world, water is available to quench the thirst. Now, if you go to the water source with a pot having hole at the bottom, and you want to collect the water, you think you're going to quench your thirst. As soon as you put the water inside, it's drained out. These people who are atheists, these are actually atheistic class of people. They have a pot, they're holding a pot which has a big hole at the bottom. Even though Krishna's mercy is there, it's not, they're not holding it. This is the problem. See, try to understand. If you say, then that means Krishna is partial. He's not giving his mercy to everybody. No, Krishna is not partial. He is giving his mercy, as I said, like sunshine. Every time, all the time, 24 hours. The mercy is kind of coming out from him because he is most munificent. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Namo Mahavadanyaya, Rupa Goswami is saying. Then what is the meaning of this Namo Mahavadanyaya? The problem is we people, because of our bad karma, papa karma, or you can say not willing to follow the Lord's advice, we are becoming atheistic. That is disqualifying us to become the recipient. Let me tell you, if you say, okay, somebody goes and offers obeisances to Krishna, he will be freed from the sin. Okay? Because he is going to take away all the sins, whoever comes and offers obeisances to him. Okay, all right, we are not saying no to it. Krishna is definitely going to do. But what is next then? This person today he goes to temple of obeisances and Krishna is kind of going to free him from the sinful reaction. Then next moment he is out of the temple, he is again committing the same mistake. What is the use? Okay, next.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I'm very, very dumb and ignorant, so I'm going to ask an annoying question, and I'm sure I'll provoke a annoying response from you, so my apologies in advance for asking a dumb question. So, Krishna is equal to all, and this Mohammedan who uttered haram, not wanting to call Ram's name, was liberated. And yet, Bharat Maharaj, who spent his entire life meditating on Krishna, at the last moment he forgot, so he didn't get liberated. That of course is a leela, I understand. But the causelessness extended to the Mohammedan is in excess of presumably what he desired, unless his sukriti from previous births led him to the point of chanting haram, even though he didn't mean to chant haram at that time. He had no connection to Krishna, and yet he was liberated. And yet, one who's spent his entire life dedicating his life to Krishna was still seemingly penalized. I know it wasn't a penalty because he was a Mahajan and he was a great devotee. By example, we learn from that story. But the causelessness of Krishna's mercy to that Mohammedan seems more than equal, doesn't it? I mean, I can't question Krishna. Of course, Krishna is free to do whatever he wants. That's what I'm saying. It was a dumb question, so forgive me.
You see, Prabhuji, these examples are given in Shastra. For example, you say, okay, this is a Muslim guy, he uttered the haram, it's like getting the Ram, the benefit of chanting Ram, Haram, Ram, Haram, Haram, Ram, 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 Ram. And Ram is already there. Mara, 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 Ram, Ram is already coming there. He couldn't even chant the name of Ram, he's saying Mara. Okay, Mara, 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 automatically Ram is coming. Sanketyam parihasyam vastovam helanameva Vaikuntha nama grahanam asesagaharam vidu. Prabhu, such kind of narrations are given in Shastra to illustrate the power of Mahamantra, the holy name. Okay? And in this connection, as I have said before, the Vedanta Darshan teaches the conclusive understanding of the Vedic science, sometimes through Nyaya. This is a Nyaya called Kaimuttika Nyaya. If a man who is not desirous to chant the name of God, or who does not know the potency of the name of God, but still by pronouncing it in a wrong way, which sounds like he's chanting God's name, if he can get delivered, then what a person who is chanting Krishna's holy name with love and affection will be awarded or will receive. This is the point to see. This is sometimes such kind of statements are given to give us more deeper understanding about the Lord's mercy. That is called Vaimuttika Nyaya. Those statements should be seen from that perspective to gain inspiration from. See, these are all principles. Now, when you kind of try to understand the principle in the correct context, then that detail will help us. Otherwise, you cannot just make our own way to understand the philosophy, whichever way we want to. No, every philosophy has been written with a particular system. We have to follow the system to understand the philosophy. Okay, sadhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji, once again. I have one understanding from today's class, and I want to share with you if it's correct. And that is when Maharaj Parikshit saw Kali causing pain to the cow and the bull, he wanted to kill him. And then he begged him, so he gave him a few places he can live. And now we're reading that Kali now is expanding into Maharaj Parikshit's kingdom. So
Yes.
my little understanding in that particular picture is that as devotees, when we have some bad habit or bad nature, it's better to kill it than try to suppress it, thinking that, oh, it's only limited to this place because it can explode. That is one understanding I'm getting from this. But my question, which will be my last question, of course, for today, is as devotees, we are all being trained to become Brahmins. We are not specifically trained to become Vaishyas or Kshatriyas or Sudras. We are being trained to become Brahmins. And from the verse 1 of this chapter 16, we're hearing that Maharaj Parikshit was a very expert ruler because he was taking advice from the Brahmins. But in our little world, ISKCON, we have people who are supposed to act as Kshatriyas, but no one is trained as a Kshatriya. Everybody is trained as a Brahmin. So how do we have Kshatriyas to help run the organization, since everyone is being trained as a Brahmin, not a Kshatriya? And Brahmins, we are good at, how would I say we? Brahmins are good at talking, not acting, because I watch sports sometimes and I see maybe the coach of the cricket team, he is coaching and he's telling the athletes, you should have run this way, that way. He himself cannot do it, but he knows how to tell the people. So what do we do?
Hey, Sahadev Prabhu,
Hare Krishna.
try to understand the principle.
Okay.
Our society, Srila Prabhupada, I would say Vaishnava society, is not established by different acharyas, whether you say Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, Madhvacharya. In that line, even Prabhupada and other acharyas, they came, they expanded the mission. Their intention is not to help the members of the society develop these material qualities. These Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra qualities, these are all material qualities. Try to understand this. These are all related to some designations. Okay? Actually, we are not supposed to create that kind of upadhi, designation in the followers of Krishna consciousness. Only and only one designation they should have, that I am a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhu, the moment the man or the lady is considering himself or herself as a servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he is false, he is not going to act on the platform of false ego. That means even if he has to handle some management issues like a Kshatriya, but because of his consciousness, the Vaishnava consciousness, he will not be so much aggressive, or his decision is not going to displease anyone. Or even if momentarily some people are displeased, I can tell you, because at the core of his heart, he has accepted himself as a servant, and in servant mood, he is doing the service. Definitely, either today or tomorrow, people will appreciate such a person. On the other hand, who is falsely claiming, I am a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya because I am doing management, because I am doing that worship, I am Brahmana, whereas he is not considering himself as a servant of Guru and Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I can tell you, sometime at some point in his life, his false ego will rise up and he will be acting contradictorily. Even though he is making the situation saying, oh, I have to be kind of acting like a Kshatriya because I have been given the power to manage. Baba, you are not supposed to be a Kshatriya. You are not supposed to be a Brahmana. You are supposed to become a devotee, servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jasyasti bhakti bhagavatta kinchana sarvai gunastatra samasate sura. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sridhavato vahi. Sadhu, kya samajh raha hai? Huh? Do you think this quality can gain like this? Just automatically by our own endeavor? No. Jasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana. Jasya bhagavati akinchana bhakti asti. Anyone who has got akinchana bhakti means he doesn't want anything other than Krishna. You give him good palace, you give him gold, you give him diamond, you give him good food, good shelter, good car. He doesn't want anything, no comfort, nothing. He just wants only Krishna. Akinchana. No kinchana. He doesn't want anything except Krishna. Okay? Jasya, anyone who has that kind of akinchana bhakti unto Krishna, then what happens? Sarvai gunastatra samasate sura. All the good qualities of the demigods automatically become manifest. These are what we are saying, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Indra is a Kshatriya. He rules in Kshatriya mode. Okay? Brahma, he is in the Brahmana mode. Even those good qualities will become manifest in the devotee, in the body of a devotee. Therefore, on the basis of this verse, I would say, in our organization, our main focus should be to help devotee recognize that I am a servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's it. That's the only thing we should be mostly focusing on. When you try to cultivate the mood of a Brahmana, qualities of a Kshatriya, because I have to rule, you cannot rule actually. You will definitely cause some dissension there. So, just try to cultivate the mood of how to become a perfect servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's it. You agree with me? Does it make any sense to you?
No, Prabhuji, you know, we have one book called Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. This is a good question, perfect answer. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Krishna Chandra Prabhu, what do you think?
Das Anudas.
I love it.
Excellent.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
To be servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, we are not supposed to serve in this organization in the mood of a Kshatriya or Brahmana. that will spoil actually. That will breed inferiority and superiority conflicts, Prabhuji, I'm telling you. If somebody is acting in that consciousness, that's not good actually.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
something happen in management. Some devotees who are in, I mean, they are doing business. They tend to bring their business-minded way and aggressiveness into it, and that creates a lot of chaos for me. So,
No, that is why, see, Prabhu, that is why in our Vedic, civilization, the ashram management used to be done by the top leader. Means who? Madharis. Means not that he's sitting there with a stick and everybody is kind of he's chastising everybody. No. By the power of his sadhana, everybody was subservient to him and everybody listened to him, his advice. That is how the monastery used to run. Nowadays, nobody is ready to listen to their guru. What to speak of listening to the leaders in the temple? Oh, very difficult. Kali Yuga, no? And if there are people like that, they should be doing good sadhana, they should be neutral, they should be kind of reflecting what they say, they practice. Then what happens? Automatically thing will improve. I have personally seen, I can tell you, when a person sincerely served in the mood of a servant, temporarily he might be mistaken by some other individuals. But after some time, those individuals also recognize his truthful attitude, truthful behavior, and they appreciate such a devotee. I can tell you. I have seen this. I'm telling you, I'm talking you what I have seen. Only thing is, we have to be true servant. True, when I'm saying true servant means true servant in nothing from within. That's it. And it means a lot actually. I cannot expand it. That's why these kind of things has to be discussed in the one-to-one meeting, and we have to go more deep into it, understand what is the consciousness. How should I project myself? So these are not so easy things because we are conditioned souls now. The thoughts are deep-rooted. Sometimes, this is like, this, what do you say, witch present herself in different colors, different times. That is what the mind is doing because of our conditioned nature. And we sometimes, mistaken understandings have been accepted by me as the correct understanding because of the witch of the minds changing its color. Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna. One announcement. So, dear devotees, this year now it's Kartik. We are in Mayapur. There is a plan to go to Vrindavan. So I will be traveling on next Monday, that is 25th, 24th, right? Next Monday is 24th, Prabhu?
Yes.
In India?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that day I am traveling. So probably we will resume our class after Kartik. So maybe for 2 weeks, for two lessons, we'll keep it off. And after I come back from Vrindavan, we'll resume our class after Kartik. Because when I'm in Vrindavan,
the CC classes as well, probably.
CC, not next, yeah, CC also will do maybe next Friday. And then after that, also will not be able to continue the CC.
So this Friday you'll do, and then thereafter you want for the rest of the class, okay? Not this Friday. You'll do a class this Friday or not this Friday either?
No, this Friday we'll have class.
Okay.
This Friday we'll have class. But the following Friday, because following Monday there is no Bhagavatam. That's why I am telling today.
Sure. Please pray for us whilst you're in Vrindavan. For us.
You should pray for me. You see, what is more convenient and easy and powerful? 16 devotees now I see in the line. 60 devotees, they pray for one devotee, that is more easier, or one devotee pray for 16 devotees, more easier. Which is more effective. Let's talk like this.
I don't count as a devotee either, Prabhuji. So I'm disqualified from even praying because I'm not even a devotee.
Don't cheat me like this. You are a Vaishnava, and everybody Vaishnava here. You all pray for me like one fallen soul, and then at least one soul will get delivered. I'm going to Vrindavan. You said, don't be miser. Help each other, no. But I'm one man. How much can I do? I can't do much, but you can do little. At least one person will be delivered. One person will get benefit. So please pray for me so that I can have a good consciousness. As long as I am in Vrindavan, I want to cultivate the Vrindavan mood, to take shelter of the devotees in Vrindavan first, and then the holy places, Krishna Radharani maybe at the end. Let's see how I get the mercy of the devotees so that I can have a...
I just have one thing to say. You are an empowered preacher of Srila Prabhupada's movement. You have been given so much mercy and you have so much purity. Your prayer, one little prayer, is worth 1 trillion of our prayers, or my prayers at least. So please, we are indebted to you, and we're requiring you to continue to guide us whilst you're in Vrindavan. Please do put a little small prayer in front of the lordships for us as well, so that they don't. We're holding on to your coattails because Prabhupada is not here directly. We're here in Parampara holding on to your coattails and to your dhoti, so that hopefully you can guide us closer to Krishna as well. So please, I know your prayers. We will pray for you, of course. So what little qualification we have, but your qualification is far, far superior to ours to pray for us. And we need you to take us back to Krishna.
I'll not remember the names of all the devotees who are coming, but definitely I can pray to Krishna for all of you when I go to Vrindavan. Thank you, dear devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram.